When you have a word from God and you're asking for a sign from God, you're venturing into dangerous territory. Jesus says in the New Testament, quote, "A wicked and adulterous generation seeks a sign." It was the religious leaders who were opposed to Jesus and showed up to mock him and said, "Show us a sign." So we need to be careful when God has spoken. And sometimes people will ignore the word of God and then they'll just wait for a sign. Well, God, if you want me to not live with my girlfriend, give me a sign. Just so you know, I just gave you one. Okay, there you go. So, but if God has already spoken, you don't need a sign. You need to obey the word. But here, Gideon is struggling to obey the word, so he asks for a sign. Now, God can give signs, and signs point to something greater. Just like a sign on the street points to a destination, so a miracle or a sign, and we're going to get into these, by the way. I'm going to do a series coming up on the miracles of Jesus, and we're going to get into the signs that point to the kingdom. But what he's asking for here, he's asking for a miracle, he's asking for a sign. And what I love about this, God is gracious. I don't believe that what Gideon is asking is all that reasonable, but God is very good and kind and patient. He's like a dad with a little kid who's immature and a little fearful and not doing so well. And it's like a dad saying, "Okay, son, let me walk with you here." And so ultimately, he's either a brand new Christian, so he's immature, maybe he's an immature Christian, and some would say he's asking for a sign so that when he tells all the other guys, God said go to war, he's got a miracle to back him up. I don't know. Here's what I do know. The scholars critique Gideon because he doesn't have full confidence in going to war. I read a lot of the commentaries, and they're like, "I can't believe his lack of faith." Well, let me just say this. Most theologians are weak. They live in libraries. They're indoorsy. They've never been in a fight other than syllogisms. And so it's very easy when you're a scholar to be like, "I can't believe he didn't trust the Lord and go to war." Like you're like, if you tuck your shirt in your Dockers, you're probably not built for war. You probably are not built for a Nerf gun war, okay? And so the guys who critique Gideon, they're not the toughest guys. So let's give Gideon just a little bit of, benefit of the doubt. How many of you have been in a fight where you thought you were going to die? Right? How many of you have been a soldier off to war? You're like, it's a thing. Gideon's a civilian, and he's going to lead men into war who are also civilians against soldiers. What he's like is like, "God, can we triple check this?" Which, if you think about it, kind of makes sense. Because he started as a coward, and now he's going to be a general. And I'll just tell you this. When you're in a fight and you might die in hand-to-hand combat, it'll change your life. I can still remember the first time that I thought I might die. I think it was 9 or 10 years of age. Literally. I don't know why you're laughing. I was going to die at 9 or 10 years of age. What the heck? Like, "Oh, Pastor Mark, we love you. We're so worried." They're like, "Okay, fine, whatever." That was different. So I was 9 or 10, and there were some high school boys that wanted my bike, so they pulled knives on me. And I thought, "Oh, this is the first time I thought I might die today." When you're faced with hand-to-hand combat and death, it's a scary thing. That's where Gideon finds himself. To quote that great theologian, Mike Tyson, he said, "Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face." Right? Gideon's about ready to get punched in the face. But what I love about this is that Gideon is God's son, but he's an anointed son.
Howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for viewing the clip. And if you'd like the entire sermon, we've got it ready to go.